While fighters grabbed headlines, electronic warfare aircraft fought the invisible war in the electromagnetic spectrum. And here's every major type that prowled the Cold War skies. American Strategic Electronic Reconnaissance. Boeing RC-135, the ultimate signals intelligence platform, bristling with antennas and sensors. RC-135s flew along Soviet borders constantly, intercepting communications and mapping radar systems. Multiple variants existed. Rivet Joint for communications intelligence, Cobra Ball for missile test monitoring, Combat Sat for radar analysis. These missions were dangerous. Soviet fighters regularly intercepted them aggressively. The intelligence gathered was priceless, revealing exactly how Soviet air defenses worked. Lockheed EC-121. Warning Star. Based on the Super Constellation, the EC-121 provided early warning and electronic reconnaissance before dedicated platforms existed. In Vietnam, College Eye missions directed American fighters and warned of MiG activity. North Korean fighters shot down one in 1969, killing 31 Americans. The EC-121 proved airborne electronics could revolutionize warfare. Boeing E-3 Sentry. The AWACS, with its distinctive rotating radar dome, could track hundreds of targets while gathering signals intelligence. NATO E-3s monitored Warsaw Pact exercises from along the Iron Curtain, seeing deep into communist territory. It integrated detection, command, and intelligence gathering in one platform. Lockheed U-2/TR-1, famous for photography, but also critical for electronic intelligence. At 70,000 feet, U-2 sensors could intercept communications and radar safely above most threats. The TR-1 variant used radar to track Warsaw Pact forces without crossing borders, monitoring Soviet military activity continuously. American Tactical Electronic Warfare. McDonnell Douglas F-4G Wild Weasel, the ultimate CD aircraft, designed specifically to hunt and destroy enemy air defenses. F-4G crews intentionally provoked SAM sites to activate their radars, then fired anti-radiation missiles down the beam. Wild Weasel missions were insanely dangerous, flying into the teeth of air defenses deliberately. The motto was first in, last out. In Desert Storm, F-4Gs devastated Iraqi air defenses, proving the concept worked. General Dynamics F-111, the EF-111E, carried powerful jamming equipment to blind enemy radars. Ravens escorted strike packages, creating electronic corridors through air defenses. Their jammers were so powerful they could shut down entire radar networks. In Libya and Iraq, Ravens protected attack aircraft from SAMs. Grumman EA-6B Prowler. The Navy's electronic warfare workhorse, carrying 4 crew members and powerful jamming pods. Prowlers could jam enemy radars, intercept communications, and fire anti-radiation missiles. They operated from carriers, providing electronic protection for strike packages. The EA-6B served from Vietnam through Desert Storm and beyond. Douglas EB-66. Destroyer, Vietnam's primary electronic warfare aircraft. The EB-66 jammed North Vietnamese radars and provided warning of SAM launches. Combat Tree variants intercepted MiG communications, giving American pilots advance warning. EB-66 missions over North Vietnam were extremely dangerous. Several were shot down despite their electronic protection. Lockheed EC-130, Compass Call, a modified C-130. Hercules packed with communications jamming equipment. Compass Call aircraft could disrupt enemy command and control by jamming radio frequencies. They operated in Desert Storm, shutting down Iraqi communications networks. The EC-130 proved that transport aircraft could become devastating electronic warfare platforms. Douglas EA-3 Sky Warrior, carrier-based electronic reconnaissance. The EA-3 gathered signals intelligence from communist forces. Operating from carriers brought electronic warfare to the tactical level, supporting naval operations directly. EA-3s flew over Vietnam and monitored Soviet naval activities. Grumman EA-1F Sky Raider, an old propeller attack aircraft converted for electronic countermeasures. EA-1Fs jammed North Vietnamese radars in the early Vietnam War. Despite being obsolete and slow, the Sky Raider's ability to carry heavy jamming pods made it useful before jets took over the role. Soviet electronic warfare aircraft. Tupolev Tu-16 Badger. Multiple electronic warfare variants of this bomber existed. The Tu-16R conducted electronic reconnaissance along NATO borders, mapping radar sites and intercepting communications. Tu-16Ps carried powerful jammers to blind NATO air defenses. Some variants conducted radar reconnaissance, while others jammed NATO command frequencies during exercises. Myasishchev M4 Bison. The Soviet strategic bomber had electronic reconnaissance variants that monitored NATO activities. M4Rs flew along the periphery of Western airspace, gathering signals intelligence. Their massive size allowed installation of extensive electronic equipment. Tupolev Tu-95 Bear. Multiple Bear variants conducted electronic reconnaissance. The Bear D specifically targeted NATO carrier battle groups, using radar to locate them for Soviet anti-ship missiles. Bear E and Bear F variants conducted photographic and electronic reconnaissance. These aircraft had incredible range, operating globally to monitor Western military activities. Tupolev Tu-22 Blinder. Some variants carried electronic reconnaissance equipment for monitoring NATO radar and communications. The Tu-22R conducted high-speed reconnaissance missions, using speed to penetrate defended airspace before defenders could react. Soviet crews gathered intelligence on NATO air defense networks. Antonov 12 Cub. The Soviet transport had multiple electronic warfare variants. An-12 PP aircraft carried jamming equipment, while An-12 BK PPS variants conducted electronic reconnaissance. These aircraft monitored NATO exercises and gathered signals intelligence along Soviet borders. Ilyushin Il-20 Kut. Specifically designed for electronic reconnaissance, based on the Il-18 airliner. Il-20s bristled with antennas and radomes, monitoring NATO communications and radar. They flew along Western borders constantly, gathering the same intelligence NATO collected on Soviet forces. Ilyushin Il-22, Airborne Command Post. While primarily a command aircraft, the Il-22 carried extensive communications equipment and could conduct electronic warfare. It was designed to survive nuclear war, maintaining command and control through heavy jamming and radiation. Yakovlev Yak-28 PP Brewer E, a tactical jammer designed to escort Soviet strike aircraft. The Yak-28 PP carried powerful jamming pods to blind NATO air defenses. It operated alongside bombers, creating electronic corridors through Western radar networks during exercises. Sukhoi Su-24 MP Fencer F, an electronic warfare variant of the strike aircraft, carrying jamming pods and anti-radiation missiles. The Su-24 MP could suppress NATO air defenses, firing missiles at radar sites while jamming their tracking. It represented Soviet tactical electronic warfare matured. European electronic warfare aircraft. English Electric Canberra. Multiple electronic warfare variants existed. The Canberra BI.8 conducted electronic reconnaissance along the Iron Curtain. Some variants carried jamming equipment, while others intercepted Warsaw Pact communications. British Canberras gathered intelligence that NATO couldn't obtain elsewhere. Avro Shackleton AEW.2, Britain's airborne early warning platform, using old maritime patrol aircraft fitted with radar. The Shackleton AEW provided early warning of Soviet bomber attacks until replaced by the E-3. While crude compared to American systems, it worked and filled a critical gap. British Aerospace Nimrod R.1, a dedicated signals intelligence aircraft based on the maritime patrol Nimrod. Only 3 were built, and their capabilities remained highly classified. Nimrod R.1s monitored Soviet communications and radar, operating from British bases to gather strategic intelligence. Dassault Mirage IV. Some French strategic bombers were configured for electronic reconnaissance. France's independent nuclear deterrent required intelligence on Soviet air defenses, and Mirage full variants gathered this data. French electronic warfare capabilities remained separate from NATO, maintaining strategic independence. Transall C-160. Gabriel, France's dedicated electronic intelligence aircraft, based on the C-160 transport. Gabriel variants monitored Warsaw Pact communications and radar, gathering intelligence for French forces. These aircraft represented France's determination to maintain independent intelligence capabilities. Nord 2501 Noratlas, an older French transport modified for electronic reconnaissance in the 1960s. Some Noratlas aircraft carried signals intelligence equipment, monitoring Soviet activities before dedicated platforms were developed. They represented early European electronic warfare efforts. Breguet Atlantic. While primarily a maritime patrol aircraft, some Atlantic variants carried electronic reconnaissance equipment. French Atlantics monitored Soviet naval activities in the Mediterranean, gathering intelligence on submarine deployments and surface combatants. Wild Weasel Hunters. Republic F-105. Wild Weasel. The original Wild Weasel F-105 F2-seaters were modified to hunt North Vietnamese SAM sites. These crews pioneered SAD tactics, deliberately provoking SAMs to fire, then attacking with missiles and bombs. Wild Weasel F-105s had the highest loss rate of any American aircraft in Vietnam. Hunting SAMs was suicide work. McDonnell Douglas F-4C/D Wild Weasel, early F-4. Wild Weasel variants preceded the dedicated F-4G. These aircraft carried primitive radar detection equipment and anti-radiation missiles. F-4 crews developed tactics that later Wild Weasels perfected, learning through brutal experience what worked. North American F-100F Wild Weasel. The very first Wild Weasel aircraft, F-100F, Super Sabres modified with radar detection equipment. These pioneered the entire concept in 1965 to 66, proving that fighters could hunt SAMs. The F-100F Wild Weasel was underpowered and vulnerable, but it established tactics that saved countless lives. Tactical jamming aircraft. Douglas A-4. Skyhawk. Some Navy A-4s were modified for electronic countermeasures, carrying jamming pods to protect strike packages. While not dedicated electronic warfare aircraft, these A-4s provided tactical jamming during Vietnam operations. Grumman A-6 Intruder. The Marine Corps operated some A-6s with electronic countermeasures equipment. These aircraft could jam enemy radars while conducting strike missions, providing self-protection and supporting other aircraft. McDonnell Douglas F/A-18. Hornet, late Cold War. Hornets carried advanced jamming pods, providing self-protection electronic warfare. The ALQ-99 tactical jamming system allowed Hornets to suppress enemy air defenses while conducting strike missions, representing a new generation of multi-role electronic warfare. Soviet tactical electronic warfare. Mikoyan Gurevich MiG-25, BM, a dedicated SAD variant of the Foxbat interceptor, carrying anti-radiation missiles. The MiG-25 BM was designed to destroy NATO radar sites using speed and missiles. Its Mach 2.8 capability made it nearly impossible to intercept before it fired. Sukhoi Su-17 M4 Fighter K. Some Su-17 variants carried electronic countermeasures pods and anti-radiation missiles. These aircraft conducted SEAD missions, suppressing NATO air defenses during exercises. The Su-17's rugged design made it suitable for low-level penetration missions. Mikoyan Gurevich MiG-23 BN. Some ground attack MiG-23 variants carried jamming pods and could fire anti-radiation missiles. While not dedicated electronic warfare aircraft, they could suppress air defenses when needed. Yakovlev Yak-28 Brewer. Beyond the dedicated jamming variant, some Yak-28s conducted electronic reconnaissance missions. These aircraft gathered intelligence on NATO radar and communications along Soviet borders. Strategic Reconnaissance and ELINT. Boeing RC-135S Cobra Ball, specifically designed to monitor Soviet ballistic missile tests with telescopes and sensors to track launches. Cobra Ball aircraft stationed in Alaska and Japan monitored every Soviet ICBM test, gathering telemetry data. This intelligence was critical for understanding Soviet missile capabilities and verifying arms control treaties. Boeing RC-135 U-Combat. Sent. Dedicated to radar analysis, combat-sent aircraft recorded Soviet radar emissions in detail. This allowed development of precise countermeasures and jamming techniques. Combat-sent missions provided the intelligence that made American radar warning receivers effective. Lockheed SR-71 Blackbird. While famous for photography, the SR-71 carried advanced electronic intelligence sensors. At Mach 3 and 85,000 feet, it could intercept Soviet communications and radar while being untouchable. The SR-71's electronic reconnaissance capabilities were highly classified, but critically important. Boeing E-4 National Airborne Operations Center. The Doomsday plane carried extensive communications and electronic warfare equipment. Designed to survive nuclear war and maintain command, the E-4 could communicate through massive jamming and radiation. Its electronic capabilities remained highly classified. Boeing E-6 Mercury. The Navy's airborne command post and communications relay for submarines. The E-6 carried extremely powerful transmitters to communicate with submerged ballistic missile submarines. It represented the ultimate in survivable strategic communications. Specialized electronic reconnaissance. Beechcraft RC-12 Guardrail. The Army's tactical signals intelligence platform, monitoring enemy communications on the battlefield. RC-12s operated in Europe, gathering intelligence on Warsaw Pact forces. These small aircraft provided tactical commanders with real-time intelligence. De Havilland Canada RC-7 Airborne Reconnaissance Low. Based on the Dash 7 transport, the ARL carried sophisticated sensors for monitoring ground communications and radar. Operating at low altitude, ARLs provided detailed intelligence on enemy activities. Lockheed P-3 Orion. While primarily for anti-submarine warfare, some P-3 variants conducted electronic reconnaissance. EP-3 variants monitored Soviet and Chinese communications, conducting sensitive intelligence missions. One EP-3 was forced down by Chinese fighters in 2001, highlighting the continued danger of these missions. Douglas DC-8. Some civilian DC-8s were modified for electronic reconnaissance, operated by CIA and NSA. These aircraft looked like normal airliners, but carried sophisticated intelligence equipment. Their civilian appearance allowed operations that military aircraft couldn't conduct. Soviet Strategic ELINT. Tupolev Tu-142 Bear-F, a maritime patrol variant that also conducted electronic reconnaissance over the Atlantic and Pacific. Tu-142s monitored NATO naval communications and tracked submarine activities. Their long range allowed operations far from Soviet bases. Antonov An-22 Ante. Some examples of this massive transport were fitted with electronic reconnaissance equipment. Their size allowed installation of extensive sensor suites for monitoring NATO communications. Ilyushin Il-76. Candid. Some Il-76 transports were modified for electronic reconnaissance and airborne command. These aircraft could monitor NATO activities while serving as command posts for Soviet forces. Ilyushin Il-38. Primarily a maritime patrol aircraft, but some variants conducted electronic reconnaissance. Il-38s monitored NATO naval activities, gathering intelligence on Western submarine operations. European specialized systems. Hawker Siddeley and Dover. Some British transports were modified for electronic reconnaissance and jamming. These aircraft supported British forces in Germany, monitoring Warsaw Pact communications. Fokker F-27 troopship. Some Dutch F-27's transports carried electronic reconnaissance equipment. These aircraft monitored Soviet activities in the Baltic Sea, gathering intelligence for NATO. Casa C-212. Aviocar. Some Spanish transports were modified for electronic warfare and reconnaissance. Operating in the Mediterranean, they monitored Soviet naval activities. Dassault Falcon 20. France operated some business jets modified for electronic warfare training and calibration. These aircraft simulated enemy electronic warfare for training purposes. Asian and Middle Eastern systems. Lockheed C-130. Hercules. Multiple nations operated C-130s modified for electronic warfare. Israeli C-130s conducted signals intelligence along Arab borders. Taiwan's C-130s monitored Chinese communications. The platform's versatility made it ideal for electronic warfare conversions. Boeing 707. Israel operated modified 707s for electronic reconnaissance, monitoring Arab air defenses and communications. These aircraft gathered intelligence that proved critical in multiple wars. Hawker Siddeley. Nimrod. Beyond British variants, some Middle Eastern nations operated Nimrods for electronic reconnaissance. The aircraft's capabilities made it valuable for monitoring regional threats. Late Cold War advanced systems. Boeing E-8. Joint Stars, developed late in the Cold War for battlefield surveillance using ground targeting radar. Joint Stars could track vehicle movements across entire battle areas, providing unprecedented intelligence. It became operational just in time for Desert Storm. Lockheed ES-3 Shadow, a carrier-based electronic reconnaissance aircraft derived from the S-3 Viking. The ES-3 replaced the EA-3, providing the Navy with modern signals intelligence from carriers. Only 16 were built before the program ended. Grumman EF-111, a Raven, already mentioned, but worth emphasizing. The Raven's ALQ-99 jamming system could shut down entire air defense networks. In Desert Storm, Ravens created electronic corridors that allowed strikes deep into Iraq. Boeing RC-135 X-Cobra I, an experimental variant testing new reconnaissance systems. Cobra I represented continuous evolution of RC-135 capabilities, always adding new sensors and techniques. From RC-135's monitoring Soviet communications to Wild Weasels hunting SAMs, electronic warfare aircraft fought an invisible war that shaped Cold War strategy, developing tactics and technologies that revolutionized modern combat.